Bezos Hashem. Today's Amud is Daf Tezayin Amud Aleph. We're starting Torah Yud Beis. Torah Yud Beis goes on the pasuk Tehila David Ayamimcha Alikayim Melech Baruch Hashem Chalam Vod. So this that we see, we're starting. It's Torah Yud Beis actually starts on the previous Amud, towards the end of the previous Amud. So this we see Al Pi Roiv Loimdim. People learn Torah Shva Peh, that the Iker Esek is Torah Shva Peh, Gemara and Paiskim. B'dech klal, they're cholik on tzaddikim, and they speak bad about tzaddikim. So the Rebbe says, you don't have to worry about that. That's mechuven godel meis Hashem. Hashem. That's all part of Hashem's plan. Why is that? Because we have a bechina called Yaakov, and we have a bechina called Lavan. Yaakov is a tzaddik who's mechadish chudushin, and he learns Torah l'shma. He's called Yaakov because Ekev is the heel, the end, the his schor is of a seif, that the Macham Kabbal Scharim. And Lavan is like a Talmid Chacham who's like he calls it Talmid Chacham Shed Yehudai. That his Torah Shleishma, it's L'Siyah, L'Kanter, is doing it for his own gaiva. So that's what Lavan is. Isis Naval is Isis Nevela. It's brought down in Chazal that someone who learns Torah Shleishma Talmid Chacham Shed Yehudai Nevela Taiva Menu. So, a person is only considered Talmid Chacham when he learns Torah Sheva Peh. A person knows how to learn Chumash isn't called Talmid Chacham. It's only when a person knows how to learn Torah Sheva Peh. And Torah Sheva Peh is made up of words, diburim, which are said by previous tzaddikim. So, there are two. In other words, there's always two tzaddikim or two Talmid Chacham who are Isaac in the Torah. So, there's a tzaddik Elyon and tzaddik Tachton. The Tzaddik Elyon is the one who's mechadish the Torah, the vart, the memra that they're learning in the Gemara or the Shulchan Aruch, and then the person who's learning the Torah that the previous Tzaddik had was mechadish. So the Torah that the Talmid Chacham, the Tana said, the Paisik said, comes with the idea of ruach, and that Torah Sheva Peh, when it comes into the mouth of the person who's learning the Torah, he's taking the ruach of Torah from the first tzaddik and he's bringing it into his own mouth. So that's like taking the ruach mamalala. The ruach is a dibur. The title of Nefesh Chaya is ruach mamalala. So this Ruach Mamala, Torah Sheva Peh, the Toitzer Eretz Nefesh Chaya, this Nefesh Chaya, this Ruach Mamala, which comes out of the Nefesh, it comes out of this Torah Sheva Peh, which is the Malchus. This is like the Shechina, which is going. The Torah is Malchus, and it's like the Shechina is between the Torah of the higher tzaddik and the lower tzaddik. So it's as if it's like a neshikin, it's like a kiss between the tzaddik Elyon and the Talmid Chacham Lamata who's learning the Torah. That's sifsaysa davos bekever when a person says over a vart from a friedik tzaddik. So that's when the Talmid Chacham who's learning the Shema. But when the Talmid Chacham is not learning the Shema and the Nevela Taiva Menu, so for sure that how could the neshikin is in the Torah neshika soine? It's like a neshika of nevela. Who could be sevel that? Now that Rebbe teaches in the pasuk of Vayishak Yaakov Rachel, Vayisa Kala V'Yefk. That Yaakov, who's the tzaddik Ha'elyon, so he sees Rachel. Rachel is the Torah, because Rachel is like a person Rachel, but it's the Rachel like the sheep which are. We share this sheep. We take off the wool. The Chazal say it's like you're taking off the wool is taking off the halachis. That when we learn Torah, we take off from it halachis and psakim, and hakol goyim paiskim and halachis. So the Rashi says that why did Yaakov cry when he saw Rachel? Because he saw Baruch HaKodesh in that they won't be buried together. So what happens? That the Yaakov is noishek the Rachel. Yaakov gives a kiss for Rachel. That means that the Yaakov, the Ruach Kodesh of the Torah, the tzaddik elyon who's mechadish Torah connects to tzaddik atachton who's learning the Torah, but he cries because he knows because he knows that most of the time when Talmidei Chacham learn Torah, most people don't learn the Shema. Yes, most people don't learn the Shema. Memela, it's not in the Chasumim Kvura. It's not lav dafka will be a bechina of sisais of devos bekever. Now that establishes the next step. So if a person has a kasha, so when a person learns Torah, it should be machzim b'tshuva. So why is it when the Talmid Chacham and the Lamdin, who's learning Shalei Lishma, and he brings in the Shechina into his mouth, he brings the Torah into his mouth, the ruach of Torah from the Talmid Chacham, who's mechadish Torah, he brings it into his mouth. How come it's not machzim b'tshuva? So the answer is, Merum is in the pasuk, Yaakov Rachel ki achi avuhu v'chiven Rivkahu. Yaakov told Rachel that he is her father's brother, and he's also the son of Rivka. To say that he's Lavan's brother, what does that mean, Lavan's brother? Because Lavan is a Ramai, and he's trying to say that in the Torah that he's Megala, there's an inyan of him being the brother of Lavan, is also an inyan of being Ben Rivka. Lavan is a Ramai, Rivka is a Tzedekes. So what's Pshat? That it says that in Torah there's an inyan of Tzadikim Yechubam u'Poishim Mikashlubam. Tzadikim Yechubam is the inyan of Ben Rivka. Poishim Mikashlubam is the inyan of Achi the brother of Lavan. Why is that? What does that mean? Because the reason why is because in order to bring Shefa of Gashmias into this world, the Torah is what brings all the Shefa into the world, Sai Rachnis and Sai Gashmias. So there has to be some slight turn to the Gashmias of this world in order to be Mamshich, the Shefa Gashmias into this world. So every time the Tzaddik says Torah, he has in it a tzadikim yachubam in order to bring the ruchnis into this world, and a little bit of pashum kashlubam. That means that in the Torah, personalized Torah is a part of it that if a person connects to it, an eifin of the Shema, that he is makabel from the Torah, the part of it which is machzir b'tshuva and helps you to tshuva and helps you to mizareh to kibbutz Hashem. There's a small part of it which is mari to learn Shalei Lishma. There has to be a little chelik of every Torah which is a little bit Shalei Lishma. Because otherwise there will be no way to be mamshech and any shefa gashmias into the world. So when a person learns Torah and he's confronted with both of them, he's confronted with machshavos of kedusha and tahara, which are being mekarev him to Hashem. He's also presented immediately with machshavos of shalei shma, of kavod and all types of learning for all other reasons besides l'shem shemayim, for nor she'eskar Rebbe, to become a rav, to become a yadin, and to have all types of kavod. And the hemshech of the pasuk is that Rachel ran to tell her father. So the Rebbe explains what does it mean running to tell her father? That actually the Poishim Kashlubam, the Shalei Shema always comes first, and it's always stronger. And the Rebbe explains that then always the Iker Yegiya in Torah, even though there's for sure the Iker Yegiya, there's a Yegiya of trying to understand the Torah, but even in that Yegiya of trying to understand the Torah, the imik of that, as we're going to say in the next Amud, later on in the Torah, the imik of that is the Yegiya to learn Shema. Because every time a person is presented with Torah, then chelik of is not understanding Torah and not getting the klarka in Torah is not being clear in the Shema, the Shalei Shema. The first thing a person sees is the chelik of the Torah of Shalei Shema, and you misgaber on that to get to the Shema part, and that helps you to misgaber to go over the part of Torah that you don't understand and to come to part which you do understand. So that's what I was saying, that the difference between Talmid Chacham that learns Torah Shema to a person who doesn't learn the Shema is both that when you learn Torah, you're presented with the Torah of the Tana, which has in it Tzadikim Yachubam, has Paish Mikashavam. But someone who's trying to learn the Shema, he's Miskaber and the Shalei Shema in order to take Shalei Shema, Bala Shema. And the other person stays by the Shalei Shema, because that's the first thing that comes. Now, that's what it says. The Hemshech pasuk is V'hi Shmai Lavan Hashem Yaakov ben Achaisai. That when the Lamdan, the Talmid Chacham, understands that it's a part of the Torah which is also Tzaddik Melchubam, that Yaakov is Ben Achaisai, Yaakov is Ben Rivka. There's a chelik of being Ben of Tzaddikas. They have a chelik of Torah. Is there, then v'yartz the krasai, that person wants to connect himself to the Ruach HaKodesh of Tzaddik, which will be Machsim B'tshuva. And v'yveil beisai, and he brings it into his house, which means he wants to bring it to the place where he does get the chiyas from it. V'yisaper l'lavan, and he wants to be mayor to him, to be and mevaris advar me'ela. So Rashi explains that what Yaakov told Lavan, everything that happened to him, means he told him how his brother Esav took away all his money. So in other words, the Talmid Chacham is trying to learn the Shema. Then he understands that the only reason why you have machshavas shal Shema when you try learning is in order to be mamshech shefa gashmis into this world. That's mean the onis achiv that the olam hazeh needs to be able to take the money and take the shefa of gashmis. Memela, that has to be a little bit of a netil shema. But a person knows that atzmi v'sari ata v'yeshiv imay chadisham. A person could be mischadish. That a person could do tshuva. Yeshiv imay. A person could do tshuva chadisham and to be chadish himself. Is this chadish connection the roichi. But a Talmid Chacham who's a lamdan that learns Shalai Shema, he says, "Lo, achi ata, you're my brother. You're a brother of Lavan. And he stays by the Shalai Shema." And the Rebbe Nassan explains in Hilchos Talmud Torah Gimel, this is all in Yonei Elam Hazeh, all which is our Avodas Hashem. Everything has in it. It's a Tzaddikim Yechubam and Poshim Kashubam. Everything has. There's a certain atiyah that person has to be confronted with machshava shalei shema, because otherwise you won't be able to mamshech anything to Elam Hazeh. Everything needs to have machshava shalei shema when you start out. Machshavas for your own hana and for your own enjoyment and for your own kavod and that has to be there. Everything Haley comes in this world with a machshava of shalei shema, and that's the only way to be mamshech any shefa into this world. And the mistake that people make, even Talmid Chacham make, is that when they're confronted with those machshavas of their own kavod and their own gaiva and their own taivis and their own hana, and enjoying it for themselves, then they think that's all there is. That's all achiyata. That's all there is. But they don't realize that it's only there in order to be mamshech the shefa gashmias. But the emes is that there's so much more, and if you look past that, you realize that there's also tzaddikim yelchubam in whatever you're doing, especially in learning Torah, and also alder in Elam Hazeh, and when you get past that, in the Hilchos Reshus Agez, or Nassan's Marich and Reshus Agez, hey, Marich and this, and all in Elam Hazeh. Then you get past that, and you get to the part of tzaddikim yelchubam, and through that you can be zeichet to the tak the Torah to be machzras b'tshuva.